Welcome everybody to Freenhalt's Let's Play Towns, Episode 2. Today we're going to start off by trying to understand why Malkin is sleeping next to dead bodies in the middle of a wrecked tree forest. For those of you who watched Episode 1, you'll recall that we had 2 tree keepers spawn in this area, which are just basic mobs that essentially disguise as trees to murder your unsuspecting townsfolk. Needless to say, lesson learned. I should have remembered that these mobs were in, but I think that a lot of you are definitely going to learn from this experience, so it's very much well worth it. We're pretty much in the same situation that we left in the last episode. I have not played this at all. We've just started with our basic carpentry bench. We're going to go ahead and we're going to evolve the basic town functions as much as possible on the next few minutes here to try to get ahead. I think one of the easiest things to do is because we do have only 9 people instead of 12, or starting 11, I'm sorry, is we're going to probably go ahead and take a lot of these tree branches and just go ahead and weaponize up a little bit. And then we'll just designate a couple people, maybe some of these Malikins, or Gandalf, there we go. We'll take Gandalf and we're going to give him a sword. And we'll have him be the town guardian, maybe even a couple other people, just for that matter. Who will walk around and yell at people to make them do things. So let's go ahead and unpause the game. Luckily, we can fix the ghost spawning problem by building graves, and you can get to that through the outdoor decorative menu here. So we're just going to go ahead and plop 2 graves off on the far side of the city. That way. Oh, we need a mason's bench. Jeez. I always forget about those things. But it's probably good because it lets everyone see what else is going on. So we're going to go ahead and then we'll see that Gandalf is eagerly going to build this wood detailer. One of the questions that was brought up in the last episode was when I was talking about how building orientation works. And as you can see, the buildings are facing towards this general direction with the mouse. Meaning that technically the people have to be able to stand in front of it while it looks like they're standing on top of it. And so if we want to have buildings here that they're going to use to do functionality-based options, like build, we can't have anything here. So that means we have to have our next row here, and then our next row here. Now, the exception are things like barrels. People can stand on barrels and work, I do believe, and that's something that you can exploit for space, although it does kind of make your base look a little bit cluttered. Now that we have the proper tools, we're going to go ahead and build a masonry area, and then we're going to get a mason's bench. I'm just going to grab a few of those in here. And this should force our townies to run off and grab the... Yep, there's a piece of stone right there. Grab that piece of stone, and then not have any other pieces of stone to work with. So we're going to give them the ability to do that right now. And, ooh, Brom. Brom might be a good sheriff. I don't know. Or a good town guardian, or whatever would be appropriate. I'm not sure that you technically would have a sheriff in this time and age. It'd probably be like a constable or... I don't know. I'll have to look that up. We'll come up with a generally historically correct option for who is going to be the town guardians. I guess we'll just call them soldiers for the time being, since that's what the game designates they are. Although it's very easy to switch someone between the soldier life and the not soldier life. Although it kind of sucks when they're running everywhere, so right here we can convert them to soldier. And if we convert them again, we can convert them straight back to civilian with no penalty, so to speak. Here's the chat log of combat going on. Snake crab. Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm glad that's very far away from our boss, or base. This might as well be a boss at this point. Just would definitely want to screw you up. But, okay, we've got 2 of the 3 benches. So, we can go ahead and give orders for a tomb to be built up here. And then I'll just grab the gooey piles of corpse flesh. And they're just going to throw the body in it. And that's pretty much it. It's kind of a terrifying sight, but I'm not going to judge. And here they are. So it looks like Brom and Malkin are going to craft the dead bodies into a tombstone, and then carry the tombstone with the bodies and the soil straight into the ground. So this will be a very positive thing for our town. surprisingly or not, it actually is a positive thing. Having townsfolk killed and having their dead bodies lay around is actually detrimental to their happiness. And as you'll find out playing the game, that there's no happiness meter or anything. So you kind of have to just wing it. But as your townsfolk get happy, and part of that is by not being yelled at by guards, not having people die, having enough food, having enough downtime, essentially just kind of standing around like Miss Plunkett is here, they gain happiness, and that happiness attracts immigrants. And that's how we're going to grow our town. We're not just permanently stuck with the 11. They're going to come and die. There's a lot of ways that townies die. I mean, these people are cannon fodder for your empire. You'll have qualms sacrificing them, but at the same time, it's just going to be hilariously frustrating deaths, to say the least. There have been games that I played in some of the older versions where I've gotten up to 40 people, and then there's a function in the game called a monster siege, where the game essentially throws a bunch of low-level monsters at you. And the thing is that they only attack one person at a time. And it's like bees, you know, one bee sting does not hurt. 50 bees stinging you is kind of a bad day. And it's very easy to lose 2, 3, 4 people in a siege like that. Assuming you don't take the proper precautions. I'm lazy, so I'm not big on building moats everywhere and stuff like that, but we'll definitely come out with a good walled defense in this playthrough, most likely, that will give us the protection that we need, so that we're not just dying everywhere, because that really is probably the most annoying part of this game, is having everyone die. Something else that I noticed in this playthrough when I was playing single player last night, just kind of trying to get the feel for this version, there's nothing going in our stockpiles. And if you remember how I told you that stockpiles are used to store things, that's because I was not lying. In the options menu, stockpiles by default for me are turned off, and this was a new feature added in this version. And some people would say it's good, some people would say it's not useful. I think it's wonderful, because one of the most frustrating things is building a barrel and having people just cram everything into it for no apparent reason. Having a barrel that you want wood in, having it full of bones and mud and copper is just like annoying, because you have no way to organize it. You kind of have to cruise through your inventory to try to figure out what the heck that you have. And now we put hauling up top, but they had nothing to haul. And now they do, and so they're going to be very happy, because they're not going to have to feel crazy when they're trying to cut down these trees and leave the logs everywhere. So for the moment, we're just going to let the townies kind of just roam and kick up the play speed up to 3. And let them do their thing, because that's probably the best thing to do, is just let them do their thing at their own pace. And so we won't give them any orders. But what we can do is go ahead and just kind of assign personal rooms. This is the area where the townies will live, quote-unquote. This is their kind of, personal space, I guess is what we'll say. So you can just make them have to be a certain size for this point. I usually give them a 3x3 unless somebody does something so fantastic that they deserve. And as you can see, the sleeping Brunhild runs straight to her room. Personal rooms like this increase happiness drastically. Being able to have some place to sleep, having a bed to sleep on, not having to sleep on the cold ground with your freshly cut logs is definitely a perk. And I don't really have that kind of experience. I've never had to cut warm logs and sleep with them. I suppose that would make a nice pine bed, but that's not what I expected with a pine bed frame, so to speak. So okay. So right now we just kind of have temporary rooms. We really don't have anything that we're really going to be... Because, I mean, how would you build, sidewalks for this? You might as well just have everybody have one big, crazy room. But the other thing we can do, too, while we're at it, for the heck of it, just to give them even more happiness, is to just have regular beds. Just to give them all beds. So I guess this kind of goes against what I was saying about giving them some downtime, but honestly, I can't think of anything better to do on my downtime than to craft a bed for me and my friends. Maybe we can put some chairs in there. You know, chess tables. Give them something to do that they won't do. Hedge bush. I would love to have a hedge bush in my room. But okay, so I think one of the standing goals that I wanted to have was essentially military. We need to get people suited up with some wooden stuff. So we got long swords, short swords, and bows. So maybe we'll have a couple bows. We'll have some people be, you know, swords guys, and we'll have some, you know, short swords. And that gets built at the wood detailer, I do believe. Yes, wood detailer. So it's these things right here. So we're going to be limited a little bit by how much we can produce because we only have 2. Now, that is why I only built, you know, 3 and then 2, because as you can see, they're pumping out the beds. And you can only have 1. You'll be fine with 1. You might notice that your development is kind of stalled a little bit. That's really dependent on your playstyle. You know, if you're not going to overload your townies with crazy amounts of work regarding things like, you know, that, you're just going to let them pretty much, you know, do whatever they want, which would be just lounge around all day and die from starvation. You know, that's cool. But I prefer to kick up production a bit, get them going. Everybody likes to be able to have their own bed before they fall asleep again. I guess another perk with a bed, too, would be that it does actually increase their sleeping rate. Same thing with like a dining area. There's actually a zone for that. Somewhere, food. That's a balcony. Eating. What looks like an eating room. Dining room, here we go. Surprisingly, the table with food on it. This will increase their eating rate, I do believe. It also makes them happier, since they're actually eating in the dining room. Instead of just, like, you know, making some flour and just eating that everywhere. Because, I mean, come on, like, who wants to just eat flour on the ground? So, we are building up a sizable flour market at this point, and we're also seem to be lagging a little bit. Although not as bad as last time, and it seems to be getting better. So what we might have to, okay, maybe not. I do believe there were some actual, yes, they are. These are actually townie-friendly apple trees. We won't die a terrible death trying to grab these. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to kick the priorities up. Gathering and harvesting, and then tilling and chopping. Ooh. I guess this is probably what we need for the most part, as it stands. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab this trees. So we're only going to grab the trees at the level that we're on. That should be still a few. Make sure we'll go down a level, see what pops up. You can always tell what's kind of on your level because it's substantially brighter than the rest of the things. Like, see how this tree is darker? And then it's becoming lighter as we go down. Definitely illustrated very well right here. This tree is very bright, whereas the tree next to it is not very bright. And so that's just a good way. Your eyes do get trained to it. It's not so much of an annoyance later. You do get the... Uh-oh, someone's in front of Venus flytrap over there. It is damaging them, but it's not fatally killing them, unlike the tree guardians. Oh my gosh. I still can't believe that happened. You just... I mean, I guess the closest thing it would be in reverence to would be like an ent or something, but... Which is really funny when you think about it, to go out, chop down some trees, and get murdered by back-to-back ents. Ugh. And, yeah, the only way we can really fix that problem of health is to simply just build a hospital. But once a townie is engaged in a fight, and they're bloodthirsty, and they will go and get their fights, they won't go away. So even if they get hurt, they just kind of decide to, you know, go and just charge to the death. Oh, okay, good. Yes, we actually, I think I do remember saying, yes, we have a bow and a longsword. So we do have the option to equip or auto-equip. This will essentially, the computer will decide what Brom should get. For our opinion, I do believe we're going to give Brom a level 5 wooden longsword. And then let's give Isabel, we're going to make Isabel a warrior. And then we're going to give her a wooden bow. And that way she can run around and bow things to death. Okay. So we're still having lumber issues. Not really crazy about that. We do have the apples picked. I don't know why the apples aren't being returned. Probably because 4/9 of the town are sleeping. But we're gonna go ahead and tell them to plant some apples there, and plant some pears here, and yep, okay, there they go. They're converting it all into seedlings. And so now we're going to have our very own apple orchard, which we can just farm automatically. This will save us from having to deal with bread, essentially. I think bread is probably one of the worst food groups in the game. But, you know, for starting off, it's probably one of the best. I really can't say anything would be better than bread other than simply just, like, starting off and building a pig farm and then somehow getting, like, a, I guess if you're next to a river, like we kind of are, then getting flint isn't terrible. And that would allow you to build a cooking fire. I do believe that is a utility. Yeah, you have to get some flint and then have a mason's bench with wood, and that would allow you to cook the meats that way. The sound you're hearing is them putting the materials into the mill. We can kind of... You used to be able to mouse over it and it would tell you what is going on. Maybe I'm just crazy. Either way, once those mills are up, we can start converting the wheat that we have in reserve into flour. And then we'll get a baking area set up right now, because that's probably the best thing to do since we're kind of waiting, is to get that built. We need wood. We're definitely low on wood. That's something we definitely need to get our hands on immediately. Wood and stone are pretty much the basic 1-2 punch of things you're going to need. And now with the tree keepers, you really do have to be aware of what you're chopping. I do not believe that tree keepers come in anything but pine trees. I'm not aware. Don't hold me to that. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. I don't believe you can just mouse over and see a tree keeper. I think it's kind of like a surprise event. Oh, here we go. We got a tree keeper. Luckily, the town, and if I do remember, I did mouse over this, and it said that it was just simply a tree. This tree... Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. I don't think I've ever had this run of bad luck like this before. In terms of the tree. Let's go ahead. We're going to convert Isabel to a soldier, and then we're also going to convert Brom to a soldier. I'm really done with this losing people thing. And what this is going to do is, anytime we get an engagement, our units become engaged with an enemy, they're going to instantly call over the soldiers. Now, there's different functions that soldiers can be, and... Alright, we were up on a hill. I'll show you that. You can change their state. Guards, like I said, will come to assist anyone who is being attacked, no matter their distance. Guards will also, if they gain line of sight on an enemy target, they will just automatically run off and attempt to kill them as less active valor. Patrols allow you to set waypoints for the guards. This lets them to just run a route, such as guarding a perimeter or choke point, but running back to town to also make sure the town isn't on fire, stuff like that. Supervisors are essentially like evil mean guards that yell at your people and make them work harder, and it also decreases their happiness. So use supervisors with care, because it does cause your people to sleep faster, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. I think we're also going to tap into this stone reserve, start mining the top. Our wheat field is pretty much done. I believe the game is paused, so we'll unpause it. I think maybe we'll be better off that way. Oh, here we go, right, you can just right-click. So yeah, it's telling us we need a cow, but cows are in proximity. And we need wood. We need 1 wood, but there's no wood in proximity. And they kind of try to fill out the instructions as much as possible in order. So let's just go ahead and chop down these trees and hope to God there isn't something that wants to kill us all. Yeah, I think I played yesterday by myself, and I haven't encountered a single tree keeper in an hour and a half of playing. So for it just to pop up like this is just ridiculous in my mind. I guess it's all for the lulz, right? Ooh, pigs. I love bacon. Alright. So they're going to just pick up this pig and throw them on top of their heads and then strangle it to death. I believe that's what they do for the most part. Oh, the other thing you'll notice is that these soldiers we have set will just wander around aimlessly. They don't actually contribute to the town. They don't care about contributing to the town. Wow, this snake man is getting really close to our town. And I think he probably came from this desert region down here. If you can call this a desert. There's cactus right next to a river. Really deserty. But what we're going to do is we're going to... Oops, that's up one too high. We're just going to claim that stone, and hopefully some of the townies will just go crazy and move down here and trigger that snake man and a fight. Ah, good. Okay, this is nice too. We're finally starting to get developed. We have a strong kind of food economy going on right now. We want to go into our gathering menu. We want to tell them to, you know, like, geez, have like 5 pears and 5 apples out. You can probably see it a little bit better right here. It says we have 7 pears in reserve. And so it's not going to give us a pick order, as opposed to these apples, you know. We've got 2, we've got 1, and now it's just adjusting the orders as need be. So we're going to go into baking. We don't necessarily want bread. We want pies, because pies fill more. Pies fill 85%, bread fills 75%. It takes 1 more resource to make pies, but it keeps your people, you know, full longer. I would say if you don't have fruit trees around, I would just bake bread. You know, be careful putting your mills up, because as soon as you start putting your mills up, your people are. Well, this is a little awkward. Apparently, the recording software decided to cut out in the middle of that, and I lost about 10 minutes of gameplay footage. So, as I was saying before, we'll just kind of recap, as I was talking about using mills. And the reason why you need to be careful with mills is because unless you turn them into off on the automatic mode, every single piece of wheat that you're going to gain is going to be converted into flour. It takes 2 wheat to make 1 flour. So, if you're just starting out, you don't need the flour, you don't need to make bread. So just go ahead and, you know, just leave the mills to be built later. You know, mills take almost no resources to make. It's very common. You know, 3 stone, 1 wood, 1 cow. So just don't worry about it. You know, you could easily play for a little bit, especially if you have an apple orchard nearby with pears. Any type of instant food like that, you know, whether it be wildlife, you know, raw pork. We've got, you know, boars floating around. You know, we can convert them into farms and have meat. But early game, these animals are going to respawn, and they're going to be all over the map as it is. So feel free to just, you know, live on the wheat and then on the apples. Your people will do a very good job as long as you make sure that you have the apples available of surviving. Over here, something I've done too while we have lost, is I got fed up with having no wood. We were trying to build a bed for Brom, because Brom is still the only one without any bed. We've got plenty of stone. We've got plenty of everything else. We've got plenty of, you know, weapons to go fight things. But we need to do something with Brom. We need to give him a bigger room. That's what I was saying before we had the crash. And then I realized that we had crashed. And we need to do this. The problem with this, though, with the bush strategy, is that, as I was trying to tell you, but the game wouldn't let me, these bushes, you have, again, no way of controlling what bush a townie goes to get when you put in an order to plant a tree. And so you need to make sure that you only put a few trees in, because they're going to collect the closest ones. And then they're going to start going further and further out for the more, you know, distance. And, you know, the last thing you really want them doing is wandering across the river into Frogland. That's just really not going to be something that's fun when you have all of your townies strolling into the jungle looking for trees. However, at this point, you know, having a few trees is probably for the best, because that way what we can do is we can go into our materials. We can say, hey, we want to have like 4 chopped logs, and we want to have, you know, our pine trees, we want to have 4 of those chopped. And it's just going to up the order right here. As you'll notice, it jumped back up to 4. That's very good for us. The only other major thing is that we went ahead and mined this formation out. The snake man ended up dropping a snake tooth. I don't believe anyone died. The snake crab died. No one, yeah. Brunhild and Brom charged in valiantly. No, I believe Brunhild was just a regular person that just charged in and decided to fight. They had nothing better to do. I know Brom was a soldier, and then you also had Isabel. That's right, Isabel was the other one. She went in with her bow and was chipping away. But since we do have the tools, we have, 5 weapons here. We can go ahead and auto-equip our townies with some slightly better tools. That way they won't be so defenseless when it comes to protecting the town. So we're just going to go ahead and unpause. We'll get a few more minutes in here, then we'll just kind of wrap it off. Sorry about the sniffling. I do have a cold right now. It's just one of those things that I'm trying to avoid doing. But we did get our bakery up. We got enough wood to get our baker's table. So they take the flour and the apple to the baker's table, and then they put it in the oven, and they end up getting a pie, and which they just place on the floor. It's not like we're a bunch of savage animals here. We just kind of just leave our shit everywhere. But that's what we're doing. Probably because we don't have any place actually for them to store it. So we won't be so tough on Gandalf for, decidingly leaving flowers in the bakery. But that's again because we don't have anywhere for them officially to put it. And that's good. We don't want them just clogging up our space of resources with crap. Okay, so we pretty much have a strong base at this point. There's really not much reason to really go anywhere or to do anything, except to build Brom a better room. Maybe we'll work on increasing the amount of people we have. We've got, 7 people and 2 soldiers for 9, so everybody has a room. In order to attract new immigrants, we have to have empty rooms, and we need to have furniture and things like that to make them come in. Because we're founding a new bastion of civilization with a dungeon. This iron realistically is not far away now. What the heck just happened? Someone just died. Oh no. Well, apparently we have a brownie. This is something that I wish the game would do a better job of alerting you that your townsfolk are dying. For whatever reason, I am not sure why, but someone has wandered over here to die, essentially. Brom has come over here and avenged them, but now Brom has to fight multiple brownie warriors. He's winning, but he shouldn't be. Oh god. Oh my gosh, and Isabel's over here too. I'm not sure. This may have been a bush thing, as I was talking about. They may have just run over here to grab this bush, or some flowers. I really have no clue. And now we have just a massacre going on. Wow. And now this brownie warrior is going to engage Isabel. Okay, at least this jungle has been cleared. We may do very well just to burn it down very quickly. I'm not quite sure. Why not, right? For the safety of the people. I can't believe we lost another 2 people right there. Oh my gosh. Well, I think this may be a decent place to stop. It has good captivatingness. Here comes the cavalry, so to speak. I love how Gandalf is the only one without a weapon. Oh man. I'm pretty sure this is what spawns the enemy mobs. Oh my gosh, 2 more people. Well, we're well on our way to dying and failing. I mean, this is really what you would expect in a situation like this. You're starting off in your brand new town and everyone's dying. If it isn't from mutant frogs killing you or giant scorpion snakes, it's oh boy. I'm just It's just fascinating. This keeps happening as badly as it does. This is a really stinky corpse. My God. But yes, I have absolutely no reason why they wandered over here. I suppose that'll be something to watch in the replay to see if you can see why and who just started leading this charge of suicide. But okay, oh boy, this brownie has engaged Malakin, and oh boy, wow, folks, you're seeing it right here. The the failure of this town. We've lost almost half the population at this point, and I don't really know if we can stop this. Isabella's so tired, and she's mortally wounded. Okay, we're gonna watch Isabel die right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and yeah, simply kind of just reflect on this a little bit, because it's just. Oh, come on, Isabel. Oh, my gosh. Oh, what a sad day. Well, I suppose we'll have to come up with a witty title for this video now, won't we? But, alright, folks. Well, thanks for watching. I'm hoping that we can play a little bit more conservatively the next episode. And, you know, we have all this free space now. Tons of free space. And, you know, the irony is that Brom finally got his bed in heaven. He'll be with us forever. But, you know, we have this free space, and it shouldn't be too terribly hard to attract immigrants, so I think we're going to make that the goal of video 3. This is Freenholt. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll see if we can get this all put back together here in a few days. Thank you.